Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hello and welcome back. This is Excel Mastery Class with Pinsight, and in this lesson we'll be learning about how we can set up our workspace, adjust what we call the visibility, apply custom view, and also set up our print preview. Now at the end of this module, which is the beginner Excel class, we are going to be having a little project just to test our knowledge. Now, in the last lesson we ended the last lesson with what we call worksheet management. Now, worksheet management comes from understanding how you can add your worksheet, how you can rename it, how you can add custom design to your worksheet area in order to be able to adjust the visibility. Now, this time around, we are going to be working in our workspace and adjusting one or two things. Now, imagine you have a data to enter into your Excel file, and you have about 1,000 candidates. You notice as I'm scrolling up, the data disappears, though it is not deleted. It disappears in the sense that the space area is shifting upward. Now imagine I want to enter 1,000 and I'm just in this number 20 and the header is no longer visible. What could happen at the end of the day is that the data could be misplaced in different cells. Now, this is a name, these are the departments, these are the score, the grade, and the remarks. But let's say we want to enter more data. Is it possible for you to misplace the department into the name option, because there is no guideline for guiding you on which cell or which column you have presently. Now, to adjust that, we have what we call the freeze pane, and this helps you to keep your header visible while you're scrolling. How do you do that? You go to your view tab at your ribbon area, go to your window command group, then you notice what we call the freeze pane. Now, we have different options when it comes to freezing our cell and our columns or rows. You can freeze your rows, you can freeze your column as well, you can create a custom view. So for the first approach, we are going to freeze our row. And Excel give you one option. You can freeze the top row. When I click on that, as I'm scrolling down, you will notice that the first row as in freeze. Now to freeze your column, it means you want to freeze a side of your column. So when you are adjusting your column using your scroll bar, it won't be invincible. So go to your freeze pane, then freeze your first column. Then once you are using your scroll bar or you are moving towards the right side of your document, your first column will be freeze. But what we just did is irrelevant to what we are doing here. What we are doing is to present the data which has a header starting from row 12. Now, how do you adjust that? The first thing you want to do is to go back. Those are rows and columns you've frozen before. You do what you unfreeze them, and you have your normal document. Now, where do I want to freeze? I want to freeze this header so that when I'm entering my data, I'll be able to do I will be guided in what column or what cell I am. Now, to adjust that, click on the cell after the header row. This is your header row, which is in row 12. Your row 13 is where your data starts from. So click here, which means you want to freeze everything upward. Everything upward is what you want to freeze. So you go to your freeze. Then this time around, we are not using rows and column. We are using your custom freeze, which is your freeze pane. Click on that, and what you will notice now that you can scroll and and the information about your data. So I can easily go back to let's just say 34, and I will enter the serial number, the full name, and the department, and I won't lost my direction. So apply that to your document and come right back. I hope you are able to do one or two things. Now we are moving to the next segment in this lesson, known as the custom view. What does custom view does? It saves and switch between display setting. Now, custom view save your current display in the sense that, remember in the last class, we learned about how to hide our column as well as how to hide our rows. And what is the essence of hiding your rows and your what? And your column. The essence is for you to be able to do what? To be able to present different view of your data to different audience. Now imagine you are in a conference or you are in a workspace and you have a meeting with your co-workers as well as your boss, and you need to do what you to give them different view as the administrative officer. For example, you want to present the data set to your boss, showing the employees information. You want to make sure that the boss only see the information of the staff. All this that I have here as an instructor, I don't if the other my audience might not need it. So I will have to do what hide this. But before I can hide this, I will have to create what we call a custom view for myself as an administrator. So how do I do that? Go to your view tab, then go to your workbook area, then select the what a custom view. Once you select that, you have a dialog box pop out, and here it will ask you to add a custom view. So the present view is for me as an administrator or administrative officer. Click on add. Then here I will type, okay, let's say full view or personal view. Just name it in a way you can understand. So full view for me. Now click on what? Okay. Now the next view I want to save is what the employer's view. It's just for him or her to have the details of the staff. And how do I do that? I'll go to my the top data which is relevant to the employer, and I'll do what I will hide it, and that is where the knowledge of how to hide your column and rows comes in. So select the first cell, go to the last cell you want to hide, then select it and click anywhere within the selected area by right clicking, then do what you hide. Now I have a new view. Now in this view, simply go back to your view tab, click on custom view. You can now add and name this as well. You can name it the boss view, or let's say the director's view. And once that is done, you click on what? Okay. And there you have director's view. Now let's say you have new employers, or you have new staff coming in, and you have to be the one to show them which department each of them have been posted. Of course, they don't need the work, they don't need the salary column, neither do they need the status column. That is for you as as the administrator, and the decision of the and the access is only given to relevant personnel in the necessary personnel in the company or in the industry. So what you need to do is to do what is to hide these two. So I'll select the first column, select the second column, right click in the same space and do what and hide. Now you have the what? You have the new view for the work just for the employees. So what do? You go to your custom view again under your view tab, click on your custom view, then add again. Then this one you can name it employee department. Now you have a new view. Then click on your work. Okay. Now you have 3 view. Now how do we now switch? You go to your custom view. Let's say I'm back in my office. I want to see my own view. You click that and click show. And there you have it. To see the directors, you go to your custom view, click on the director which is already selected, then click on the show and to give you the director's view. As well for the employee, for the employee, you just click on the employee, then you do what? You click on show, and there you have it. Sorry, I'm trying to turn this back to normal. Now, since we've understand that, it is now necessary for us to want to apply. So the practice file is to apply all that has been done. And if you want to remove a view, you can just select that view and do what? And delete. And there your that view will be removed. Now for me to go back, I'll just click on my full view, then I'll show. So apply that as we move forward in this lesson. Now we are moving on to how we can present or set up our data or file for sending or printing. It is one thing to know how to work in your workspace, But as a professional, sometimes beginners get confused on how Excel works when it comes to printing or saving our file as in different formats or for sending or sharing or and all. So how do you adjust this? Now, for example, I want to print. Let's say I want to print this present page. The normal thing we do is what is you use our Control P, and once we use our Control P, it will normally take us to a print preview, or you can also use what you call the file option. And here at the file area, you see what we call print. Click on that, and Excel will show you your data, how it will appear. Now, look at this. Of course, it is in A4 size now, but if you look at the data, you will notice the data is in what has been cut off and separated into another page called the page 2. You will notice this is not representing our data well. Imagine you want to submit something, the full name and department is on one page, and the salary is on one page. It is better for you to be able to link as much as possible as you can do. Link the names, so that you know, okay, this payment is for what? It's for this department and for this person. So how do you adjust your print area? Let's go back to our view. This is where they are not having the knowledge of how to set up your print area, choose your orientation, set up your paper size, adjust your print area comes in. Now, how do you do that? If you notice, immediately I open my print preview, there's a tick line here which is telling us once we are printing this document, this is the normal size and this is where our page is going to be broken. Now, to adjust that, you first of all make sure you know which part of your document you want to print. Now, all these things I don't need to print it. I just need to print the main data which is there. So you have to select your data, select that, hold down your shift and go to the last cell. Go to my page layout, and under the page setup, then I'll do what? Select print area. You can see a drop down. Then you set that data that you select, you set it to what? You set it to print area. So once you want to print, so I'm going to file again to see which area has been selected for our print. Now you can see only this data has been selected. But is the setup done? No. So you go back again, because I want this to be in one single page. So how do you do that? You go to what we call orientation. Your orientation changes the flow of your documents. So now our parent orientation is what is portrait. Still under our page layout tab. Then change that to what? To landscape. Now looking at the landscape, we notice the break line has been adjusted or moved. So let's go back to our print file again. Let's check our print preview and see if it covers our entire data. It covers the data, but it still break the bonus and the rest. So let's go back again. This takes us to adjusting our paper size and setting our page up. Now, your paper size normally comes in A4. If it is not there yet, to make sure you change it back to A4, which is your normal document, except you are using larger document for your printing. Now, to set up other parts, since our paper size is set up, you can also set what we call your scale. The scale presently, you can see the tiny line is breaking here. So the scale presently is 100%. That is the normal size, which is automatic. You can go ahead to change it to fit into one page. You can select it to fit into one page, and you will notice that there is no longer the break line. So let's go back to our file again, print. Then you notice all our data has been covered. So knowing how to do this is very important when it comes to collaborating and sharing of our documents. Now, we want to apply header and footer or maybe numbers to our document. How do we do that? You go to your insert. This time around, you are done with layout. You go to insert, then you go to your header and your footer. Click on your header and footer. Then you notice that there is a box up. And when you go to the below, we only have one page. Let's go to, you have how many page now? We have about 2 page, but the data is in 1 page. So if you want to add your header and footer, header means you want to add more information about this thing, or maybe let's just say you want to authorize this document in one way or the other, or apply some custom formatting. So let's just say for this instance, I'll say Pinsight practice file, or you can add logo, or you can add any other thing that you think you feel like adding. Then once you're done, you click on the page. When you go to other page, since there is no document here, you might not find it. Let's say other parts of our document. You might not find, since the document ends in 1 page. Now to adjust our to apply page number, what do? Your page number can either be at the footer, or you can apply it to your to your header. Now I'm applying it to the footer at the right hand side. So where do I go again? You will notice immediately you click header and footer. Now take this note. Immediately you click your header and footer, a contextual tab will come out. A contextual tab appear when you select an object. So now I'm selecting my header and footer now. So it gave me an additional header, additional tab. Remember to insert your header and footer. Primarily, you go to your insert. But once your header and footer is out, you have a new contextual tab to have a further control on what you want to do in your header and your footer. So click on your header and footer. Remember, I said you can add other things. If you want to add current time, click where you want to add current time, and your time will be added. Once you click on your page, the time will be what to be added. Go back if you want to add more. Go back to your header and footer. You can add file path, file name, sheet name, and the rest. Now, for the page numbering, I want my page numbering to be at the footer. So I want it to be here. Go back to your words, header and footer contextual tab. Click on page number, and it will appear like this. It will appear as and. Remember when I added the time, it also appear one way. It is after you click on your page that your green number will appear. So click on your page, then you notice your number will appear. If we have data in other pages, you will notice that it will appear. The header will appear. The footer will also appear. So, and that is that about. So let's go back and go and see how our print preview now looks like. So we are going back there now. Print. Then you notice all the information you added, the page number, the tag name for the header. Then you also have the time you created the document. So you can apply this to your document. And if you want to go back to your normal view, which is your normal Excel view, just go back to your view. This one is telling us we are presently in page layout. You can go back to your normal view, and there you have it. Apply that and come right back. Now, welcome back. I want to congratulate you because you have just rounded up the Excel mastery class called beginner level, and the first phase of the beginner level, and we'll be rounding up this section with a mini project just to demonstrate and apply all the knowledge that we've been learning so far. And this is where your project comes in. Now I have this also in your practice file. Just make sure you open it, follow the instruction, and you will see how much you can do. So the first thing I want you to know is that learn how to format your document, learn how to apply colors, but make sure your colors are not blocking one another. Make sure your color are visible, and make sure that your header rows are also visible enough, in the sense that apply bold, apply some formatting under your own tab using your fonts in order for it to be easily accessed. Now we want to calculate total row for the employee in this data. Based on what you have learned, to calculate total row, the right function for it is to do what? You use your what we call the sum function. So how do you start your formula? How did you start function? Remember, function and formula help us to perform calculation automatically in Excel. So to add up the total pay of employee, it means will be adding the salary and the bonus. So you click on that on the first cell, equals to, then you enter your data. I told you can either continue entering data there, or you go to your formula bar and apply that. So what is the first cell? Equals to sum, sorry, because we have to write the function first. Then once the suggestion is out, double click on that. Once you double click, you select the first cell. Select this cell, then if you want to add different range of cell from different position, that's when you need a comma. But for this type of calculation, they are close to each other, so select it as a range. Then you close your close your bracket, then you enter. Then automatically Excel calculate the total salary paid for you. Then to calculate for the rest, you don't need to go and start entering. All you need to do is to click on the first cell, then do what you either drag down or you double click, and automatically that has been done for you. Now coming to the tax. The tax area is just like you are using a tax levy to do what you are deducting a tax levy from what the total pay. So how do you do that? You have to set up your tax amount first. So you enter your tax rate in any of the cell. Then how do you do that? Just click on any cell. Then is our tax is 7.5. Click on type 7.5% as you have it. Enter. Then we have our tax already in place. Now remember we learned about relative and absolute referencing. And in this relative and absolute referencing, we have a way we have to lock a cell. In this sense, we are calculating tax. So the tax is not moving. It is only the total pay that will be moving. So how do you apply that? Just click on your cell, enter your equal sign, which is the way of instructing Excel that you want to perform calculation. So what type of calculation? I'm multiplying this with this in order to get my tax amount. So I'll be clicking on what cell this multiply. Your multiplication is an operator you find on your keyboard. So once you click on that, then you go to your tax and as well select it. Now for your tax, remember we talked about absolute and relative reference. You have to lock it, because if you don't lock it, what will happen? It will automatically reference below, and which will make this 0, because it will be as if you are multiplying the total with non-value. So what do you do? Click anywhere within the cell, the cell name for the tax, then click on what F4. Automatically it will lock for you, or you manually enter the $sign at the back of the column tag and at the back of the row tag. So when you are done, click on enter. Then automatically the tags have been performed. Now you either drag down or you double click. So since you are stopping here, I'll drag down. So moving on to the next way. What is the next way? The next way is subtraction of the tax amount from the total pay. So how do you do that? Go to your next pay, equals to, select the first cell, click on your minus, which is in your shift key, or minus what? Minus the tax pay. So you select the second one. Now you don't need absolute referencing. You need what? You need your relative references. So you don't need to lock any part. So you do what you do. Once you are done, enter. Then you go back to the first gotten one. Then you do what you drag down. So you can see how Excel automatically perform what would have taken us hours to achieve in minutes. So try to apply that. And let's say for our checklist, you have to do one or two things. Have you been able to access all the and have you been able to access and apply and do the calculation for the rows, the data? Yes, you've been able to do that. Now for other parts, say total pay amount, you've calculated that. For the tax, you've calculated the net pay that you calculated. Now the sum, and looking at display, you have a total row where you can apply sum again to to individual column. So for the total pay, you want to know how much entirely you are paying to your employee. So you just select that. I'm deleting what we have there before. So I'm applying sum equals to what? Sum. So click on the sum, double click, sorry. Then select the entire range of cell you want to sum up. close your bracket, then enter, then you have the sum. So you know you are paying your employee 1 million plus every month. So you are doing the same tax across the row, right? So you don't need to go there and start applying the same sum. All you need to do is to make sure you locate the dot, make sure your cursor is there and turns to that thick black cursor, then hold down your left click and drag forward. Then automatically it will calculate the total tax the employee are paying, that the net pay, the entire net pay they are going home with. I hope you're able to get that. Then you can also as well make sure you adjust the visibility. Imagine now we have 1,000 candidates. As I'm scrolling up, what happened? The tag name is what is being cut off. So how do you adjust that? You click on the row, the cell below the header area. Click on that. Go to your go to your view, then you click on your free spin, then you select free spin this time around. So once you click on your page, your header has been freezed. So that's it. So for your print area, you can set up your print area. Let's say what our print area looks like our page layout. Where do you exactly want to print? You want to print just the employees data and their payments. You can just select. The first thing you need to do is to select, just as I have done recently. Apply your print area. Then you set up the orientation, set up the size, set up the scale, and you are good to go. So when you are saving this file, you learn how to save normally. You save for sending. You want to send your document, you don't want or you don't want it to be distorted when it gets to the destination. So you have to learn how to also convert to PDF. And how do you do that? Go to your file, you see export. Once you click on export normally comes in as a PDF. So click on export, then you see what we call PDF, then you can do that. But we are not doing that to our document now. So I hope you are able to gain 1 or 2 things in this beginner's class. Now we have ended our first beginner class for Microsoft Excel. If you want to do better than what I have done, you just need practice. The same tool you are using or you are learning now is what professionals use in different offices. So make sure as you're learning, you're applying, because is by applying this tool that it is when you apply this tool, that is when you gain mastery. So have a nice day and we'll meet in module 2.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.